by Riverside.
Okay.
Here we are.
Intro, yeah?
Yeah.
I like it, Louis. I like it. Picasso, I like it.
Picasso. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Back again. Episode 11. That doesn't rhyme.
11 heaven.
11 heaven.
More than
11.
7.
11 is greater than 7. That
It
is
is.
true. That is true. All right, we're done. Thanks for listening, guys.
You ever been to 7-Eleven? No. Have you been to the States?
I've been to the States, but I'm not sure I've been in the
You been to
7-Eleven. to be
7-Eleven?
honest.
Don't go. You don't have to go.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Beyonce has a song about 7-Eleven, but, it's...
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think it's about 7-Eleven. Now I think about it.
Yeah. No, I think we should probably dead that one there. What we doing? Episode 11, Tech Moves. Welcome. I'm Louis, and I'm joined with
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. And we're back. And what we're kicking off with today, we're going to talk about Cisco. And what I come across the other day is a bit of a madness, actually. So Cisco, for those of you who don't know, is a American-based multinational technology and communications conglomerate, right? Conglomerate. Big boy words. Last year, apparently, the revenue was $56.99 billion US dollars. So just a little bit of chump change that you find down the sofa.
Just a little bit.
And they're headquartered in San Jose, California. And they develop, manufacture, and sell network hardware, software, telecommunications equipment, and other high technology services. I don't know what high technology means, but
It's high tech.
advanced technology and exo technology. Oh, it sounds like we might be getting put on a watch list if we keep talking about that.
Exo.
Yeah, exo technology.
What's the exo technology, Louis?
I don't know, bro. We'll have to come back next week and do an episode on it.
Yeah, I might have to.
But yeah, so the point of Cisco is they've made an attempt to acquire Splunk. So if you do a little bit of searching, you can find out a page on Cisco's own website says their acquisitions year by year, and you can just literally scroll through. And I'm not joking. We've both looked at this. What was it, like a couple of hundred?
Yeah.
Like, maybe
Since-
like 300 since
That's...
they started capturing it. So this is like you can scroll all the way back to 1993. The first company that they acquired was Crescendo Communications Inc. on September 21st, 1993. And then every single company since then that they've acquired is listed on this page. And Splunk's at the top. I thought it's just kind of mad, like how many there is. And if you scroll through, there's a number of them that you've probably heard of, like Kenna Security. We've got Slido. We've got CloudCherry. We've got Duo Security. We've
Duo.
got...
Wait, what do you use for work? Or what's it called? Two-factor authentication.
Can't tell you that, bro. That's secret
Yeah, I just
information.
realized I'm not going to say either, but like,
Yeah.
at the same time.
I mean, there are many to choose from. There are many identity providers. There are many...
Better question. Have you ever used Duo?
Yes, previously.
So
But
yeah,
it
Cisco
was-
owns that now. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's that good. They were lacking a few features that some others had. Anyway, so Duo. Quickly scroll through. Is there any more?
WebEx, that's a big one.
Yeah, WebEx.
I use WebEx probably twice or 3 times a week.
WebEx is good. I think WebEx is probably the best. No, maybe
Better than
Zoom
Teams?
has some features that top it, but then WebEx, it seems like an overall better product in my opinion. It's more reliable. There's more, I guess, robustness to it. I guess I'd say.
I'd agree with that. TeamViewer is quite cool.
Nah,
You don't like TeamViewer?
that had its time and its place, but not anymore.
You know what? I actually prefer Microsoft Teams the most. But I think if you have to if you have to take over someone's screen, it's the worst for that.
Oh,
And I'd
yeah,
rather use
don't do that.
WebEx for takeover.
Yeah.
Or even, what's the other one? Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom. We'll come on to
You like
Zoom
Zoom?
actually in a bit. There's some some madness about that. But a few other companies that you might have heard of: OpenDNS, Whiptail, Ubiquitous.
Where do I know that name from? Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous. It's not ubiquitous. It's not the one with the other network in. I don't think.
Okay. It's yeah.
Intelligent 3G and long-term LTE small cell technologies. That was back in 2013. And I'm sure there's probably others. We can link the doc, but it's just kind of mad. Like, you see a company like that, and you probably don't hear or pay attention to most of the stuff that happens in the background. But at the same time, they've been acquiring like 400 companies since like 1993. Like, that's kind of mad.
It's good to see. Well, there's two ways to look at it, I guess. It's good to see that they're acquiring companies and making them better, or like giving them their suite of everything they've amalgamated over time. Because I mean, I don't remember when they took over WebEx, but I'm sure having Cisco owning you is beneficial, especially to clients that use it on a day-to-day basis, especially because of how big of a company they are and what they stand for, which I only thought was strictly networking until I started using their products, and then I realized, oh, they've got their hands in a lot of things and not just, the fundamental things or aspects. So it's good that they're branching out, because they kind of have to survive nowadays to be a conglomerate. Yes, you have to kind of become a monopoly, right? Because you see, Google became Alphabet and Facebook became Meta, just for the sake of there's so many umbrellas underneath us. Not umbrellas. We are an umbrella, and we have so many, what do you call those things?
Brands.
The brands?
Structures.
Yeah, branches underneath us to make us who we are today. Regardless of what we began with, it's good to see that, that they're acquiring and growing in that sense.
Nah, it was all done for tax reasons, in my opinion.
Or that. You think so?
I mean, you can...
You think they bought Splunk for tax reasons?
Maybe. Like, if Splunk loses money, that's a tax write-off.
That is true.
I won't get into the specifics of it, but sure. But yeah, so I thought that was something to bring to your ear holes.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on everybody that's acquiring and why. Because I'd like to know, especially like... So tell me what Splunk... I actually don't know what Splunk is.
I think in a very bad way to explain it, it's like a log aggregator, collector. So you can just pump your logs to it from your applications, and they've got some quite sophisticated tools and algorithms that allow you to like search, index, and do all sorts of it. So other people might have heard of things like the Elk Stack. So you've got like Elasticache, Logstash, and Kibana. You're talking about like your metrics and stuff. And then there's others that you might have heard of, like different flavors of that, different like login agents. But Splunk is kind of like the all-in-one, I guess. But it's more the store and transform. I'm not sure. Let me click on the website, see what they say. This is drastically increased since I last used this. You can do events, do all sorts of integrations, search. It's not just logs anymore. It's proper security and observability. Nice.
Yeah, because it looks like there's a lot of like threat detection that they want to work on.
Damn.
Accelerating revenue. They help with that, I guess. Cash flow.
Yeah.
And
Streaming
AI
search,
too. Security and
learning.
AI.
Yeah.
In the age of, So I think they're going to help Cisco, is what I'm trying to say. Is it's not just for money. It's also, hey, you play a part in this world already. So let's build together.
My tax comments were like Alphabet and Meta related. They were.
Oh yeah, those are tax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are tax write-offs. That's
How do I save my money?
Also, what's the other word? Collateral, not collateral damage, but collateral damage is like
evasion.
Something bad happens, we can just blame one of you instead of the whole thing.
Yeah,
that doesn't work anymore, because if Meta does something, then no one cares about which department it was. It's just people say it's Facebook, and then it says Meta. Whereas at least Google, like the whole alphabet, like you now hear the names of the branches a bit more. Like, oh, this department did this and this department did that. So like, I don't think the others have kind of figured it out, but that's the avenue we're going down.
You know what? Actually, this is kind of mad. I think when you get to like a massive size like Google and like Facebook and whatnot, everyone just says like, oh, it's just Meta, but they're actually referring to like Instagram, for example.
Yeah.
But if you were to talk about some like different different sectors like Unilever. You want to talk about like the manufacturing industry, and you want to talk about the different brands that Unilever own, like underneath it. It's massive, absolutely massive.
It's insane. Yeah,
but no one goes, "Oh, that's Unilever."
No, they don't.
They're just like, "Oh, that's." Let me find some. Like, if you're going to like beauty and healthcare, like Dove, that's Vaseline. Like, you don't go, "Oh, that's Unilever." You probably look at the tub and be like, "Oh, there's Unilever brand in it."
But at the same, I know, but like, it's also because they've been around for so long, so you know these names. These are household. Literally, Dove is a household name.
Yeah.
Whereas nobody really, I don't think most people even know that Unilever manufactures or produces Dove, like soap and all the products.
Hellmann's,
whereas like Google was
Horlicks.
first, and we knew Google as Google was a search engine. Facebook was first. We knew Facebook. We grew up with it. And then they started. They've split into these derivatives or subdomains, whatever. Literally in the past like decade, right? So I think in maybe 100 years' time, I don't know how long Unilever's been around for, but probably around that time, right? We'll probably be like, oh my God, I can't believe Instagram did this, and no one would care about Meta. In that sense, if it still exists.
You know what? Let me list out some of these companies, brands that they have. So Axe, which is like the American version of Lynx, I think, right?
Yeah. Which one came first? Doesn't matter. Keep going.
I think it's the same. They just had to give it a different name, didn't they?
Yeah, maybe Lexus and Toyota, right?
Bango, Ben & Jerry's, Sif, Comfort, Domestos, Dove, Equilibra, which I think is the Simply Health stuff that we call over here. Hellmann's, Knorr, so that's like your stock cubes and stuff, I believe.
You like your mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise. Bro,
Hellmann's.
I don't like mayonnaise.
You don't like mayonnaise?
No, I do like mayonnaise, but not like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not crazy about it. Oh, actually,
I had a conversation about mayonnaise earlier, and I thought it was you. It wasn't you.
No. I heard this like something that I was talking about. And there's people that have mayonnaise with everything. Like,
I'm one of them.
What? So you're telling me you'll make spag bol and put mayonnaise with it?
But no. But maybe on the side. Depends on the day.
Are you telling me you bring sachets of mayonnaise with you?
No, I don't bring sachets, Louis. But
this is the level I'm talking about, right?
Okay,
some of these people are going to. Oh, yeah, mad levels.
I let them have it.
That's what I'm saying. We're not in that category. I know we're not in that category of that level. Where they go
what do you have with your chips?
What I have with my chips?
Yeah,
depends what
mayonnaise
I'm feeling.
or ketchup.
Depends what else is with the chips. Or if it's just chips.
Plate of chips, mate. What condiment do you want, Louis?
Ooh, it's a feeling. I don't know. I can't tell you.
My first thought is mayonnaise. I have to think about ketchup. I have to think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Give me some barbecue sauce before ketchup. Actually, you know what? I don't rate ketchup. That's what it is. I don't rate ketchup.
Ketchup's got its uses. Like you're talking about like a bacon butty.
Nah, give me some barbecue sauce or HP. Miss me with the ketchup. Maybe a bit of mayo there in the bacon butty. A bit of mayo.
Mayo in your bacon butty, bro. We're gonna get cancelled. What do you mean?
How are we gonna get cancelled?
Nah, there's gonna be protests outside and everything.
Let him protest. Let him.
I'm like, he's in here, lads. He's in here.
But wait, so back to Cisco.
Yeah.
Where did they get the name from, Lee? Where did they get the name from?
Where did Cisco get their name from?
Yeah.
I believe it was because where they were based, right? San Francisco.
There you go. And what does San mean, Louis?
Saint, right?
Louis is on game. This guy knows his stuff. Also, have you seen the
logo?
St.
Francis.
I don't know, San Francisco. I guess, yeah, Francis, isn't it?
Man like
Francis moved from... Wait, is that French?
No, it's Spanish. St. Francis. I'm not sure.
St. Francis sound mad French? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Some European country.
The logo, Louis. What's the logo for Cisco?
I guess it's like the... not the skyline, but what do they call it? What, like... The outline of the buildings.
Louis, wait. Okay, just open it. Don't cheat. Just type in
Or you want to
Cisco
talk about
logo.
like the Golden Gate Bridge?
It's the Golden Gate Bridge, Louis.
Is it? Okay, cool.
It is, yeah.
I thought it was just like their skylines, to be honest, but I see how it is.
Too. I thought it was a wavelength or something like that. Because networking, right? I don't know. But yeah, no, it's the Golden Gate Bridge.
Packets getting stolen.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, let me open the website back up again. Okay, yeah, looking at it now, yeah, okay, cool. That looks like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, the more you know. The more you know. Speaking of things we know and don't know, where the hell is AI going, Louis? Artificial intelligence, no one knows.
Bro, been a bit of madness going on recently, isn't there?
A bit.
So much like we can have an whole episode on this, though.
We could. So we're going to do a quick briefing.
All right.
Of a quick executive order.
Go on.
Of was it last week? No, October 30th. The White House. Not the Brown House. Not the Red House. Not the Pink House.
Not the Black House.
Not the Black House. The
White House.
Had an executive order for safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence.
What does that mean?
I'm going to read section 1 and then nothing else, because this is the longest thing I've ever seen in my life. So section 1, just by the authority vested in me as president. Wait, this isn't me. This is what Biden said. This is what Biden said.
Whoa. Hold on.
By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, we're just going to do this and then nothing else. Purpose. Artificial intelligence holds extraordinary potential for both promise and peril. Responsible AI use has the potential to help solve urgent challenges while making our world more prosperous and productive, innovative, and secure. At the same time, irresponsible use could exacerbate societal harms such as fraud, discrimination, bias, and disinformation, and also displace and disempower workers. And it can also stifle competition, and it poses a risk to national security. Harnessing AI for good and realizing its myriad of benefits requires mitigating its potential risks. The endeavor demands and societal-wide efforts that include government, the private sector, and academia and civil society. So in totality, the government in the US, or I guess the president,
Uncle Sam,
wants it to be regulated, right? That's how I read this. Tell me if you think otherwise, Louis. But it's about, so far, it's been Bob and his uncle and his granddaughter doing whatever they want on the internet with this stuff. And a lot's been happening and things have been affected, such as propaganda, as I mentioned, fraud, discrimination, disinformation, disempowering workforces, jobs security is changed because there's new things that have been implemented that can literally take away job security for a lot of people in a lot of sectors and industries. And it's just like, we need to control this. It's got to a point where it's important. You can't ignore it. It is a power that's unbeknownst to any of us, and it's just kind of rogue right now. So although they can't control it, they know that if they have a governmental or government push to help put, like, not barriers or barricades, but just kind of like guide it in the right direction and make sure that they're involved too, maybe institutions and schools, in governmental lawmaking. I think this is going to go down to lawmaking as well, of course, and trying to just be like, okay, at least we're part of this and it's not just something we're fighting against, because you can't fight it anymore. You have to work with it. You have to work by it. You have to work for it. It's here. It's going to stay. So play ball. But it's the government, it's the US, so they're like, probably deep down, let's control this and hopefully we can use it to our own benefits, which you should have done in the first place. I don't know why it took you this long to have an executive order, but here we are. Louis,
what up?
So, what do you think?
I think AI is good. The potential for AI is good, but also Skynet. And for those of you who don't know what Skynet is, Google it and find a new pair of pants. No, it's not that deep. It's not that deep, but trust me, Skynet, it's going to happen at some point. No joke. I'm not a tinfoil hat wearing person, but there's going to come a time when true artificial intelligence will have a conscience and think humanity is no longer good for its own cause or something stupid. But until then, talking about this, I think yes, you do need some regulations about this. Like, you talk about concepts. I think in the UK, what was it, like over the last 5 years, there was a big push for like voice technology in the banking sector for like multi-factor. So it was like, hey, look, you call up your bank and go, you say a phrase and they're like, yeah, cool, we can verify this is your voice. Imagine that today with how many tools and bots and agents and whatever else that there is all they need is like a 10-second clip of you, and they can say any phrase that they want. Boom, they're in your bank. Imagine if that, like, if they still pushed for it and that was still going on, like just full access to your whole account. Like, that's nutty. So yeah, you do need a level of, I guess, control and not repercussion, because it's like the boundaries. Like, laws aren't. It's not always just a case of what you can and can't do, but it's like, where does the line drawn? So, hey, look, I can create a shady company in this country and pay them all my money. Technically, that's not illegal. It's not tax evasion. So there's the boundary. Whereas if you were just like, cool, you can't send your money to a different country, then there's the boundary. And I think with AI, it's not where the line in the sand is, because it's going to continually evolve. That's the problem. So how many times do you redo this? And how many times do you like change the law accordingly? Like, cool, you can now no longer impersonate people. You can no longer do this. You can no longer do this. And before you know it, it's like...
it's just playing catch up.
Yeah, and by then I guess it's probably too late.
Yeah, you're never in time. You're never... It's also... It reminds me of kind of like when the internet became a thing, right? Like, there was no rules. They don't know what's possible until people show you what's possible. And then you have to act quickly. And like back to you mentioned impersonation. People had websites up of like, I'm the president or whatever. Back to how like the whole Nigerian prince thing became a thing. No one could verify people's actual like identities. So if someone had a nice looking website pretending to be whoever, and then they asked for your money to help you, you could easily do the same thing. So we're in the same kind of phase of, I don't know what you'd call it. Not a new phenomenon. I don't want to use that word, but it's kind of like a technological phenomenon where like this is new, but the potential is literally unfathomable. It's like infinite, right? If you can think of it, you could use this to whatever you can think of and imagine. It can be a part of that, just like the internet was. So it's back to like playing catch up. Also, I mentioned, I think it's too late. And I just realized there was a EU Act for AI like 2021. And that was to help with like the systems and utilities of how the EU will handle anything AI based. And that's 2 years ago. So like, I don't know what has actually happened through that. So we need to like look at it. But I know for a fact that there were acts that were put in place a long time ago within Europe. Whereas like the US is just like now realizing like, okay, maybe we should like stamp something down and, you know, try to, yeah. I think also it comes back to when was the last election in the US?
3 years ago?
So 2021. So now I think, especially for Biden, is he knows the next election coming up that he needs to get ahead of this, because it's the other guy knows how to use misinformation. Do you know what I mean? The other guy knows how to use misinformation and knows how to, you know, go around regulations and whatnot. So you better, as a president especially, not just care about it for the sake of, I guess, humanity, but also for the sake of your own back and what's going to happen in the next year.
Uncle Sam's thinking of it in the aspect of like, how can it be used against us? Like, how do we control this now to understand it better, to use it against our enemies more so than looking at how they protect their like citizens and whatnot. They'll say this is how we protect our citizens because that's who's going to get them the votes. But ultimately, I think there's, what's the word? Bigger forces at play, I guess is the word, if you like read between the lines.
It's always a line. You got to read between them.
Exactly, man. I mean, if you think about some of the mad stuff that's coming out, like based off of that, like there's a company that have created, so an AI company has created this like contraption, this like floating boat thing. I'm not even sure how you phrase it. It's kind of mad. And basically what it is it's a ship / container / raft. I don't know what it is. That's going to have a cluster of, listen to this, 10,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs on it. Right?
That's a bit mad.
Will then, right? This is a mad. They will then take this container, boat, ship, raft, craft, something, whatever, and they will then take it into international waters. So by law, right, there's no overarching governing body. There's no Like, you know how in like maritime law, like if you're out in the waters and you're in
it's different.
there, there's no overarching law. No one owns that. It's international waters. But at the same time, there's like things that you do and you don't do. Like, you stay away from this bit because there's pirates and blah blah blah, and people respond and whatnot.
Wait, they're susceptible to pirates?
Bro,
wait, so like if you can go against national laws and now you're in international waters, you also lose protections from that country, right?
No, I guess is where it gets a bit sticky, because it's like, it's not like we leave you to it, but at the same time, it's not like someone can go, we own you, you need to do this.
Mate, if you're paying taxes on my soil, then you decide to build a big ship and float it out so you can avoid paying taxes or whatever. Pirates can eat all they want, mate. I'm not helping you.
Wait, what?
Who's gonna help them? Like, who do they belong to in those waters?
Oh, sorry, I don't think they're going anywhere near the pirates. So the pirates is a bad example, but I'm just saying. So like international waters, there's like certain like straits and parts of like the world where they are notoriously known for like pirates. So they'll probably float this off like the coast of America. They'll probably go towards like halfway towards like Hawaii or something. I don't know where.
But still, like, is the company still under? Wait, what's the company's name?
I don't know. I don't think it's been. So
it's just an AI company. Okay.
So it's a company that's doing it.
Dell
the idea is that people will then be able to use it to build and do all sorts of model training and whatnot. Technically no longer under those US laws, because it's not happening in the US. It's in international waters at that point.
So I guess my question is, what's the benefits, Louis? Like, what are the benefits of doing? Because they're going through a lot of effort to get this away from mainland.
What are the benefits of this? I guess technically no one can say you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do these sorts of things in there. But then at the same point, you train that model. Where are you going to transfer it to? Where are you going to go then send it to someone on the American soil? And they're like, well, they'll just change the law that goes, any model that's created outside of our land and you bring it in now is susceptible to X, Y, and Z. Like, you know how like America calls people that aren't American aliens in their country and stuff like that. Yeah. Technically, that model will be an alien. They'll now be susceptible to certain laws. So it's like, cool, the model's now on this ship, raft thing. Now what? Wait, do you just leave it there forever? Do you just run your models in there? Can you never... How do you... And then obviously if you send in data to it you want to train with, are you technically exporting your data from the United States? The legalities of like GDPR and stuff like that. I mean, not GDPR, but
eventually it has to come back, right? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So like, just because you can do it there, but then what?
Do you like get on a boat and take it with a USB stick? Like just drive up.
I found a quote
4 terabyte hard drive.
The company's called Dell Complex, and they said this is a reaction to the Biden administration order.
Yeah.
And they said the Biden administration's recent AI executive order and the European Union's AI Act are thinly veiled attempts to centralize control under the guise of protecting citizens. So this regulation not only stalls the pace of innovation, but also interferes with the very cosmic endowment of humanity. Does it? Anyway, it's in its spirit that Dell Complex takes frontier AI models into a new boundless blue sea frontier, blah, 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 blah. Also, Louis, additional benefits such as tax shelter opportunities. Always comes down to the bottom line, Louis. Always comes down to the bottom line. But they're right. Like, we don't know what laws you're about to make with these executive orders. So let's get the hell out of here. And so we can do whatever we want. What's up with your face, bro? I can see.
Bro.
Have you seen a ghost? Louis is just looking at me with his mouth wide open.
So I was deeping like the infrastructure of this, right? So they're apparently going to have 2 power sources. So it's going to have 2 gas turbines. One's a steam turbine that will cycle back and forth. And then there's also going to be like solar arrays. There's going to be onboard batteries and whatnot. And apparently they'll be like continually monitoring it for like the integrity and corrosion. Imagine. Yeah, so that's what that's called. But the powerhouse per se, like, was actually going to be doing all the the training and whatnot is, you just said earlier, NVIDIA H100 GPU. There's going to be 10,000 of them apparently per cluster. And I was just looking into that, and apparently each one of those GPUs go for $40,000, right? And if you think about that, apparently you add 10,000 of them, you're kind of looking at towards about 15 billion. 15 billion sitting on that raft. People are going to go try to steal this thing.
That's what I was saying. Like, if it's not, like, who protects them? Like, what governing body? And what if I'm a pirate? Just sitting ducks, just floating about.
I don't think there's anything you can do.
Also, if I'm the US military and you're doing like dodgy AI stuff, right?
Where do they get 15 billion from?
You're doing dodgy AI stuff off the shore. What's stopping me from just blasting you out the waters?
The US Coast Guard turn up and be like, boom, boom,
what
boom. What
are you guys doing over there? Oh, we're just doing some AI stuff. We've got 10,000 GPUs in here. Like, right, mate. We're nuking you. Sorry.
Coast Guard turns up.
2 hours to wipe all your data with magnets.
I don't know. I think it's kind of jokes, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you're just wasting your money.
Yeah.
For
if
the
this
memes.
is real, it's not flying. It's floating. It's not sinking. It's not floating either. It's going to sink, Louis.
Imagine, like, it gets out there and like 2 days later, it accidentally
because also, right, this can't be the first time. This is not a new idea. Someone must have tried to create a business on a ship somewhere out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't this would have been done before? Just not for AI, of course, but for like other things.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues though. Like a lot of countries like won't recognize you.
That too,
because you're technically not registered.
Yes,
you can't say, "Oh, I live in this patch of the sea. These are my coordinates."
Yeah,
you want to put an address in, like, here's my longitude and latitude. here's my here's my address. I don't think it's going to work. So I guess that's what we'll kind of talk about for AI for this week. But I guess we'll do an episode at some point in the future on AI. Maybe we'll go like a deeper dive onto different things that are coming out and what you can do, the issues, controversies, and the 500 million things that's going to be surrounded by it. It's not going to be the last time you're going to hear this.
No, but get used to it. AI is here. It's like Allen Iverson. It's crossing over. It's pulling back. Swish.
Pull out game.
Hey, wait. You said pull out or pull up? Because two different things.
Pull out.
Two different. Okay, he's doubling down.
You said pull back. You said pull back, so I was like pull out.
Yeah.
It's just different. Same
Wait, how
phrase.
do you pull back? That's not a thing.
You do pull back.
I guess you do pull. Yeah.
This is kind of nutty, right? So you're thinking like all your big tech. You're thinking about your data storage, right? You're thinking about all these hard drives. And I don't know if anyone's ever heard that story of, like, I can't remember what that company is. They were moving from one office building to another to put all their hard drives on like those trolleys, but they didn't put any like dampening. So by the time they wheeled all of their hard drives from one building across the car park to another, they destroyed every single hard drive because of the sheer the vibrations going over the car park just destroyed all the discs, and they had no other backups. Stupid. I don't know what story or like what company that was and how long ago it was, but that's just a madness. So talking of data, Microsoft has got this project going on called Project Silica, and that silica is in like silica glass. So what they're trying to do is they're storing data on glass, which I'm not going to lie, I never thought that'd be something I'd ever hear in my lifetime. That's kind of nutty.
How does this work, Louis? Is it like fiberglass? Like fiber optic? No, that's transferring. This is storing. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Fiber optic's light.
Yeah.
No, this
regardless,
is actual glass.
Passing through. No, but like the fiber
strand.
The cables. They're made of glass, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's light. That's transfer of data as opposed to storage data.
Storing, exactly.
So this is storage. So this is like, I guess, etching. I'm not sure. Maybe it's patented. They never tell us in a million years. Maybe Bill Gates and whatnot will drop it as like not an open source. What is it when you like freely allow something to be distributed in the world? Like
open source.
It's a free patent, but you can use it. What's that?
I guess it's open source. It's a source that's open. I know what you're trying. I know what you're looking for,
Yeah.
but it still falls
This
under
is-
the umbrella of. Because actually, I know of somebody that works in patent law, and they mentioned that the umbrella is always open source. Yeah,
So
free for use.
yeah, free for use, I guess. Commercial, non-commercial, personal, blah blah blah. How it works is they are storing the data in a glass using three-dimensional pixels called voxels. VOXELS.
Like the car?
No, that's voxel. Bro, there's probably like 10% of people like, what the frick's a voxel?
Louis, it's move on.
Nah,
It's
I'm
a
done.
joke.
I'm done with you. I said last week, I'm looking for a new co-host, right? And I was not joking.
So Microsoft
If
is
you
storing
would like
data
to-
in cars, yeah? I could do that, mate.
Driving these cars around, imagine. What did I get to you? Oh, so voxels, and so you know how, if you don't know, currently in today's age, you have a hard drive and there's like a magnetic spinning disk inside of it. This is now going to be a saucer sized, so a small plate sized piece of glass. And they said that they'll be able to store data for thousands of years and technically be sustainable storage. So instead of using all the materials used to create that magnetic material, glass, what do you need to make glass? Is it just sand? I think there's a couple of others.
Listen, I'm going to the beach ASAP.
Gonna go make your own glass.
Gonna make my own glass.
Just, I can imagine you going to the beach, filling a bag with sand. Just
Yeah, I'm going to store. This is my hard drive, mate. Go grab yourself a hard drive. If you need more space, go to the beach, mate. Get some sand.
Like 1 terabyte per scoop. So yeah, and like imagine being able to, like, imagine in your computer, you no longer have hard drives, it's now glass. But what I want to know is, how do you interface to that? So at the moment you would have magnetic arms and they read off the different sectors and the different plates that's inside the drive, and they get transferred and converted and blah blah blah. How do you read glass? Is it like a massive what are the machines that you play vinyls on? Record player. Do you just have like a massive record player in your computer now? Like, how do you read that? Where today, and you know, in the movies where people, like, the FBI's knocking at the door and they've been doing dodgy stuff and they've got like a massive electromagnet or just a massive magnet and they're running around all their hard drives trying to wipe them. What do you do now when in this situation? Do you get a hammer and start smashing up everything? Like, but if like a 1-inch piece of glass contains like a terabyte of data, how do you destroy that in seconds? It's not that I'm trying to destroy data in seconds, but it's just, how do you now, like, if you're in a data center, when they get rid of these hard drives, they shred them, right? Shred them into like millions of tiny pieces and then melt it and then send it off to some secure facility to recycle it. How do you do that with glass? Do you just pulverize it to dust and then melt it down into another block and then create another disk?
More sand. Put it in the ocean.
Don't do it, man. Nemo wouldn't be happy.
Also, I found the describing the process of how it works.
All right.
Are you ready for this?
Go on, tell me.
So, data is stored in glass via a 4-step process. Writing with an ultra-fast femtosecond laser, reading through a computer-controlled microscope, decoding, and finally, storing in a library. The library is passive, with no electricity in any of the storage units. The complexity is within the robots that charge as they idle inside the lab. Awakening when data is needed. They climb the shelves, fetch the glass, and then zip back up to the reader. What the hell does any of that mean, Louis? So there's robots.
That's the library part. Sounds like it's like a warehouse of like, oh, go give me this disk.
Also,
sounds like an Amazon warehouse.
The data can't be modified.
What's a laser, I guess?
So once it's written on the glass, like, there's nothing else you can. It has to stay in that state. So you can't reuse this.
Nah, I reckon you could just like burn off another layer, because it says it's 3-dimensional. So you got X, Y, and Z coordinates. So how deep you go, you can translate to something different.
That's true. But regardless, it's fine. It's not fine. What's the word? You can't overwrite it the way you can with what we currently know and use. So even if it's 4D,
Bro, this says once the data is written, the glass cannot be changed.
yeah, that's what I mean. So it has to stay. So you have to store this for whatever you've written on that. That's it.
Oh, the goal of Silica Project is to write data into a glass and store it on the shelf until it's needed. What?
So it's a physical library, Louis.
What is it like to back up the internet?
I maybe.
Oh,
I don't know about this one, mate.
The examples. Hang on. Global Music Vault. Look, there's a global music vault.
This is just to back things up. It's a backup, Louis. These are backup dancers. These glasses.
Backup dancers.
They're still pretty good
dancers.
though, because people do that. You know, this is actually really sick because you have physical libraries, right?
Like that,
yeah, like for information, and also, I guess books. You can like write the books onto glass.
Now, this is for when AI takes over and destroys humanity. When we need to recircle back to where we were, here's a backup.
But the AI can get to the backup, Louis. Why can't it get to the backup? It can't read glass?
You never know.
Aha, we found your weakness. You can't read
with
it.
the first ticket. Terminator's coming for us, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to hear this. It's going to process
it. It's donezo, mate. Like, when AI is here, like, you lot don't understand. It's finito.
Finito!
Like, when it actually becomes conscious, when it can have its own monologue in a monologue and it can think to itself, and it just starts being like, you know what, I want to, like, have feelings. Once it has feelings, like, it gets angry, it gets upset, it gets petty.
I talked about this last week.
It's donezo.
Was it last week or the week before about the one that Google were doing and the lead engineer got fired and they were like, what happened? It was like, oh, it felt depressed, so we had to unplug it.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
I don't want to be on this planet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no. You can't have that.
Maybe
So
AI won't survive.
Next?
Maybe AI will just turn itself off. It'll pull its own plug.
Maybe.
Nah, it's not. It's going to kill us all.
But again, if personalities become... My point is, if you give it personalities of humans, some of them will, some of them won't. Some of them will be like...
Yeah, it depends on what human. Like, some humans are...
That's what I'm saying. They keep trying to make it human, and it's like, don't do that. We're flawed. It's a computer. It's perfect.
Ones
but
and
we're
zeros.
creating it, so it's like, it's only our version of perfection. So then, but then you keep giving it your personality. Like, look at Twitter, X, whatever, and the questions people ask these things because of what they care about. It's never anything constructive. It's never anything useful. It's just, hey, I want you to say the N-word. How can I make you say the N-word? That's the information these things are like
N-word?
gaining. That's what my point is. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people do.
We're allowed to say Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
I thought we were allowed to say Nigeria.
Oh, no? But you know what I mean? It's raps. Once it figures it out, it's raps. All of us.
When it knows where Nigeria is on the map, then we're done for.
It's GG's.
GG Nari. You know what? Screw AI. We should probably still talk about AI now, right?
Yeah.
Let's
talk about Al.
Getting screwed. All right. Talking about.
Yeah.
Turn up to work one day, not being allowed there next day. Let's talk about layoffs. Let's talk about the tech industry. Let's talk about jobs. Let's talk about the madness that's going on and whether it technically is a madness or not. You wanna lead us in? You've gone. You've got something to say.
I've been wanting to talk about this. I've been waiting for this day, Louis. Ooh.
All right, thanks, guys. This has been episode 11.
I've been waiting for it. So yeah, as Louis said, as you probably heard in the news, for the past maybe 2 years, 1 year specifically, maybe the past 6 months, there's been a lot of layoffs, tech layoffs specifically in the industry, and the workforce changes, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this episode will probably be titled something to do with tech moves. And we wanted to cover what's true, what's what. Should you be concerned? Because we know a lot of people that work within tech. Some of the biggest companies in the world are tech companies. So this kind of affects everybody at some level, extent, or, you know, it might not be you, but your partner, family, friends. Or if you're looking to transfer into the tech industry, should you? If you keep seeing layoffs, I don't want to work somewhere, Louis, where I'm going to get laid off. Why would you want to do that? So we're going to go into it. We're going to start off with LinkedIn.
No. talking of Splunk earlier, like Cisco acquiring them, Splunk's laying off 7% of their workforce, right? And the CEO has said to employees, it's got nothing to do with the $28 billion acquisition by Cisco that was announced in September. The changes were simply the continuation of, in air quotes, important initiatives Splunk has undertaken to align its resources and operating structure.
There you go.
It all just comes back around, doesn't it?
It does.
It's all
yeah. It's all connected.
Yeah. So 7%, what's that? Like 560 jobs as part of a global restructuring. Oh, they announced 325 job cuts back in February, and now they're doing another 560. Damn, so they've laid off like 10%.
Yeah, but I mean, also you've sold your company to somebody else, right? They don't need everybody
it's
you
pending.
had.
It's not done yet.
Oh, it's not done yet. You intend
back
to.
out. Imagine they were like, fire all your people. We don't need as many people, and then they back out.
Hey,
that's a madness.
Sounds like somebody else who tried to sell something or buy something and was forced to buy it. Does it? No, not really. Ignore that. Anyway, LinkedIn also. Was this year? 700 employees laid off?
Yes.
Do you need that many employees at LinkedIn?
Yeah, because Microsoft owns it now.
Two guys, mate. It's a website, right?
It was in October, mid-October.
But it's just a website, though. You just need two blokes. One gal, one guy. You know.
Bro, where's this going?
I'm just saying you need two people. It's not going anywhere. But
yeah, LinkedIn. What did they
do? What
did Microsoft do?
Microsoft or LinkedIn?
Microsoft owns LinkedIn, so technically it's Microsoft. Microsoft owns LinkedIn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they brought them I guess they technically purchased them. Technically grammatically correct. To be grammatically correct.
When?
They purchased them like a year ago, 2 years ago.
People off it's not LinkedIn.
Hang on, they bought them in 2016 for $26.2 billion.
How did I not know that?
Yeah.
They kept that under the wraps. I respect it. I had no idea.
There was a whole big thing about it because they brought Yammer and what's the other one? The other video calling thing, the blue one, Skype.
The blue, yeah.
Because they also purchased Skype as well. I think the same year or something like that, or afterwards, whatever. So talking to companies buying companies, yeah, Microsoft.
This is also, acquiring. So it moves everywhere. It's all moving. It's moving mad. So LinkedIn / I guess Microsoft umbrella company, they cut off 700 people, and this was all centered around the social networks core engineering team. So if you worked within, I guess, the LinkedIn social media teams or whatever in the past year, you've probably seen a big shift in everybody else around you. And this has just been the overarching topic pretty much. We've seen every big company in the past 2 years, like I mentioned, who's gone through loads. So we want to go through some stats and some companies and the changes that have happened within the past 2 years, because my theory was it's not as bad as it used to be. But I keep seeing the same stories every day, and it's like, why are we still reporting it as if it's as terrible? And also personally, I know that the tech industry is growing. So what does it actually mean if there's loads of layoffs versus when there's, jobs being created? Like maybe it's just part of, I personally think you can give your opinion as well, Louis, if you want, that the tech industry changes very fast and very quickly. And therefore there is a high turnover rate. I personally understand at the average tech role or job or company, you probably have like a year or two before you jump ship. People that I've met within the past year or two, or even before I graduated, I was told, hey, by the way, unless you've grandfathered yourself into like the most stable role possible, which I don't even know what that means anymore at this time, but at the time, this is like 5 years ago, be ready to shift to like, this is just part of the system. Like the technology that you're using today that we were learning in 2015, 16, 17, 18 won't exist in 2023. And we're in 2023 now, and I can tell you, nothing I learned at uni is what it used to be. And if you haven't changed, if you haven't learned, everything's going to change around you. So they're not going to let you go, but there's going to be a crop of new employees with these new skills. Or the company itself won't be using the technology that we're using, and they might have found a simpler easier, faster way to do their day to day, and they won't need the workforce that they had yesterday because it's just different. But guess what that also does is it creates new jobs, new skills. And if you're constantly learning and evolving yourself, you won't be part of the same company, but you'll be able to just move on to somewhere else and jump on that ship and continue on. But it's just part of the trade, I guess. That's what I think personally. And I'm ready for that. I've been a proponent of that. But I've made sure personally to keep up with the market, to keep up with what's happening around me, to keep learning. And also I'm luckily tried to be with companies that also teach their employees or grow with their employees and not just look to sack and hire. It's it's hit or miss, but that's just the world that we're in. That's how I believe.
I agree with you. I think it is that case. I think if you catch up or get caught out, like it's a continually evolving. Like I'm in the DevOps space, and there's a new tool every week that does the same thing as 4 tools last week. But is it better? Is it worse? Who knows? And there's so many concepts that I personally know, like that people aren't catching up, and they're getting caught out, and it's their own fault. And it's like you should spend the time, you should spend the energy. I can't remember what the phrase was. Like someone called like people like dinosaurs or something like that.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily mean that you're old, but like you can be the same age as me and still be a dinosaur.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are our age
5 years ago. Huh?
I know a lot of people are our age that are dinosaurs.
Yeah,
it's like yeah, I agree with you.
It's mad, and I want to play devil's advocate here. Like we'll go through some stats
and
whatnot.
It's beef. I want this. I'm kidding.
But I half would like say not all of these layoffs, but I would say some of this is justified. I think there's a lot of dead weight in a lot of companies, and I wonder if this is like not the coal. It's not like we're trying to get rid of like a pest problem, but at the same time, how many people are you paying for wages and they're not producing? How many people?
Are you playing devil's advocate, or are you doubling down on what I just said?
Doing both.
All right, go for it.
I'm doing both.
You thought he was going to say, "Didn't deserve it, guys. This is so bad." He said,
"No, I'll do a full UE in a second."
Okay.
How many of these people are actually dead weight? Like, how many people are you paying salaries? How many people? Like, because people just think, "Oh, this is again." We'll get into like jobs and like remuneration packages and stuff like that. But like people just say salary and they're just like, oh, this is what you get paid. But if you think about how much it costs to the business, like how much is training, talking about like pensions and like 401ks, you want to talk about benefit plans, you want to talk about like medical, you want to talk about dental, you want to talk about all these other things that come into it. Like you end up like doubling, maybe tripling what your salary is as the overall package that they pay you. So you multiply that by like a whole team of like, say, those social media people that are LinkedIn. Imagine there was already a team that was doing that job and it's just a duplicate. There's like 15 people doing the same job twice. It's like, it makes economic sense to cut that off. It's like, why am I going to pay £4 more for the same loaf of bread? You wouldn't.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, how many of these people are just getting shafted? Because it's just like, the business is like, we need to save money, we need to save costs. You guys don't look like you do anything. Bye. And then boom, severance package.
Even if you look like you do something, they'll still find a way to be like, what you're doing isn't worth what we're paying you anymore.
Yeah.
It was yesterday, but today it's just not. And that comes with also like, back to preparing people in the industry, you can't take anything personal. That's business though, right? It's like you can't take what companies do as a personal, not attack, but like
some of it is just like you're bad, you're not worth this job, and then some of it is companies just being straight up.
Yeah, there's no emotion, there's no heart in this. It's just we're looking at numbers, and the numbers said you do a good job, but we're paying you too much for the job, and we'll make more money if we had less people working, and those people that are left have to like start working harder, and that's what they do. You end up. There's a lot of, if you just talk to anybody in anywhere, it's always, there's not enough of us, but we're doing a great job. And it's just like, as long as they can see that that's possible, they will squeeze it. And then guess what will happen? Another company will become, a new company will be built. And then whoever is left off, they will join that company and then they'll do the same thing. And then it'll keep going. But there's still, the tech industry is still rising and growing. So there's always going to be a job available. for the people that, were already working. And if you have experience as well, chances are, in fact, me and Louis were looking at a chart just literally before we started recording of, what was that? Layoffs. What was it, Louis?
Layoffs.fyi.
So if you go to layoffs.fyi, you can look at a lot of major companies, and this is featured with like Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal and New York Times. I'm guessing this is mainly American companies and whatever, but you can actually see a list of like Amazon, Cloud Kitchens, Google, Zillow, all of these big companies, and a lot of the employees, correct me if I'm wrong, they actually put their names in to showcase that what happened to them, or like the fact that they've been laid off. And then you can find their LinkedIns and, things that were happening a year ago. They're all back in work. Like most of them are back employed, back working.
I don't know about most of them. We only checked on like some of them.
So everyone I clicked on was working again. So I'm going with that.
Yeah, that was like 3 out of like 400,000.
Everyone I clicked on, Louis.
It's a ratio, bro.
It is. And I didn't miss. It didn't miss. But
Michael Jordan.
But yeah, and these charts as well on Layoffs.io. Back to what I was saying, I know last year was actually problematic. Last year there was a shift in cutting costs, and also remember last year, that's when the AI thing started booming, and we had a glimpse of what's possible. And people play by the market, and then they panic. And again, remember, they're heartless. They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about the future. So if they get told you can have less people because this new technology is going to be implemented and people can figure it out, they're going to run with that and then try and figure it out. Because worst case scenario is if it doesn't work, guess what? We can hire them back. People are going to want to work. So it's like win-win regardless. And we can go back if we have to. No?
This bit is where, this is what really annoys me about a lot of companies, and like why I've like shifted from like certain companies to others, is the disconnect between management and people down at the coalface is mad. So like people at management are like senior leaders, exco and whatever else up there. They're like, oh, it looks great down there. Like you guys seem to be doing a really good job. This is dandy. And then we're down at the bottom in like literal, like we are fighting to stay alive. And we're like, this is wrong. We need this. There's no strategic direction. We're trying to do this. You need to work out this. And there's like a million things going wrong. But they'll ignore all that and then be like, oh, we've got too many people. We need to lay some people off. Yeah. And it's like, no, you guys didn't get the 50 other messages that we've left you. Like, what's going on? Are you in a different planet? So at the same time, maybe these people are getting laid off and they shouldn't be getting laid off. Maybe they should be hiring more people.
Yeah, but that's back to what I was saying about numbers. Their numbers don't tell them that. Their numbers just say cut costs. And the first easiest cut is always workforce. And you go from there, right? It's like a test. What's the analogy? Is how much can you chip off before it? Like Jenga, they play Jenga with people. It's like how many blocks can we push off before this thing collapses? And then you get to a point usually of, okay, this is about to fall. This is it. This is our skeleton crew, and then you stay with that. I hope. Well, this sounds terrible. I can't say that, but it doesn't matter. But sometimes you push too much, and you kind of hope that if a company does do that way, of like, let's just keep pushing until like, we get to breaking point, but we just stay afloat, then you kind of hope that the whole thing falls apart, right? Like your 100%. Whole ethos is this is people's lives. So like you shouldn't survive longer than this. Like we don't want you, that type of companies that think that way, to keep on going, because people will come back to work for you because people need jobs. People need to work. People need to provide their.
Well, they're not going to come back to that company.
They don't know, Louis. Like, if somebody doesn't, even if you did know, if you still have an opportunity to work somewhere, you're going to take it. Like, people take jobs. Like, there's an opening, someone will take it. People, there's more people
until they find out what it's like, and then
but even if people don't have a choice. Like, not everybody has the luxury of like actually sifting through. It's whatever comes to their like first in their door. Do you know what I mean? So they'll take it, and that will always be true. So that's why they can keep getting away with it and keep doing this, because that they know for a fact that we can push what we have until it breaks. And if it breaks, we just put an ad on LinkedIn and we'll get everybody back. Look at Elon, right? He fired, was it 80%?
80%, yeah.
And then like the week later, things were falling apart. And what did he do? He hired them back.
No, he didn't. No.
Not all of them, but like he hired a lot of people back.
There were a select set of people that he hired a few back.
And they said yes, Louis. That's my point. They came back.
Okay, cool. For that point,
Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say. Is like they came back, and then he figured, okay, 80% was too much.
Then he
But like
fired half of them again.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
then, that's my point. See, in real life, we're seeing the Jenga of, okay, that fell apart. Let's reverse, put it back. So instead of that much, push this back, take these off. Is it still stable? Cool. Do more. Because now it's like also in that time when you had the workforce back, you build the infrastructures that you needed to do so to have less workers tomorrow. So it's like, yeah, you can't take none of this personal, but you can,
You know what?
and you should vote correctly and incentively to working conditions and worker rights, and also employment benefits too when you do vote for your constituencies, mayors, I guess your presidencies, depending on where you live, or prime ministerial personnel, all of that. That's the only time you can control these kind of things is what are they offering you? Because the companies, they're private. They don't care. They won't care. They don't have to care unless you force them to care. And the best way to make them care is through that. So, yeah. Sorry, there was an election here. That's my first time. It's not the major election, but there was an election for like mayoral. And then I realized people don't vote. Like I keep forgetting that part. Like you talk to people, it's the same in the UK, right? You'd be like, oh, did you guys, because I can't vote here. But I'm aware of it. That's the other thing, right? Is some people are like hyper aware, some people aren't. And then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm some British guy that's been here for like not that long being like, oh, did you guys vote for the mayoral thing? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God.
You've lived your whole life. You don't know.
And it's just like, oh yeah. And then you're going to complain to me tomorrow about certain things. And I'm like, bro, you didn't even know, but it's like, whatever. But yeah, there you go.
You know what? I want to touch on the go vote. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Go vote. You should have your say. You should
protest too.
You know what? People that don't vote or they don't try to do anything about it and then just complain, you've got no right to complain. If you didn't put a vote in, you can't say anything, in my opinion. Even if you go there and nullify your vote, you're like, all these options are pants. I don't want to do any of it. Nullify your vote, but still do it. Don't. Anyway.
Yeah, vote and protest. Let your thoughts and feelings be heard.
Agreed. I want to go back to Twitter a second. So firing like 80% of the workforce, hiring back a small percentage, and then canning them off again because the job technically got switched. In a cost-cutting measure, and if you looked at the financials of Twitter before like Musk brought it and whatnot, they were hemorrhaging money. And I mean, I don't think people fully understand to the point of how much they were hemorrhaging. Like I think there was a stat that they'd only survived like another 6 months or something along those lines. Where those cuts were needed to be made. And I would argue, sure, there was a rocky point in the middle between the survivability and everyone's like, oh, Twitter doesn't work today. Cool. The engineer that pushed the prod last night, he's gone to sleep and whatnot, all these memes and stuff. But if you're looking at it now, are we like a year on from him taking it over? Is it a year? I don't know.
It's been so long. I don't even know.
Yeah. But like compared now to when it was happening then, now it's just kind of like it's just Twitter. It's just other than new features that are being brought in to like change it to something else to make it like a payments platform and all this other stuff. It's just Twitter at 20% of its workforce.
Yeah,
I think how many people that are getting paid to work at Twitter, and there's no disrespect to you, but how many of you like were needed? How many of you were like just overpaid engineers not doing much?
Yeah.
Like surely you couldn't have been doing much.
Yeah. Back to the devil's advocate thing. I do also agree it's that point that we all know. You look around sometimes at work and it's just like,
yeah.
Even back at school, let's just use school as an example. Like when you group work, there's two guys or two girls, two people that are doing the work. And everybody else, two other people could do the work, but they're not because the other two, maybe there's a power dynamic, whatever going on. But then there's always another two that are just just there. And it's like, you are just here. And if we had a vote right now, it would be easy. We need 4 people at the very least, not 6. But back to the companies are like, wait, hang on. Sounds like we only need 2. So, that's the dynamic you have to, So it's, yeah. And also, like I said, when it happened, I was like, Louis, I'd like to see what happens. Because everybody's like, oh, it's over. It's going to collapse. It's going to break. And it's like, it's still here. So that means some of that was correct. Like, they didn't need all those people. And, you know, they're still afloat. You can't keep saying eventually they're going to collapse. Eventually. But I'm like, it's been a year on. So he was right in some sense. And, you know, I still use it. It's still funny. It's still good.
You know what?
So,
also, the other thing is, right, everyone's talking about Twitter like it was like the central medical system of like the United States.
yeah,
like,
that's what I do. That's
just
the
Twitter
thing I don't like, mate. It's like, yeah, right?
Like,
These
sure,
things aren't
freedom of
important.
speech, just platform, social media and all that. And like, you wasn't even paying for it back then when all these issues were going on. So you can't even be like, oh, look, I'm paying for this. Why is it not working?
Yeah.
Now, so yeah, people that were like treating it like it's the end of the world, and it's like, nah, just give it a day, it'll be back. Like, don't cry.
Oh, that's the reason. That's why we made this podcast too, Louis. I'm getting emotional about this.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get people on here that work in hospitals and like other, you know, important, not governmental, but like education, etc. Because it's like I need to know what's going on with them with technology. It's like, because we have too much credence on big corps that are literally just entertainment. It's news and entertainment, but mostly it's entertainment. A lot of you don't read the news on Twitter. It's forced in your face because you see it because you're on there. Most of you are there just to look at memes. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all need memes. You have to escape. Well, not escape. You just have to have fun. Life, you want to enjoy it. So this is a medium that we have in today's world. So we use it. But it's like, yeah, why is this viewed as the most important news story to our day-to-day lives? And we know, look at how much we know about it. Why do I know that Twitter fired 80% of their staff forces? What did the NHS do? I don't know what the numbers are. I know it's bad, but I don't know what the numbers are. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
You know what, actually, talking to the NHS, they're going for a massive digital transformation. And there's a lot that's been going on in terms of like getting access to like your medical records and like what you would think was standard stuff, like this service can talk to this service so you know you can get this information.
I took a picture of Louis. Sorry. Go on. Continue. It's to remind myself. We need to get somebody that works in the NHS here. But go on.
Yeah. So this service talk to this service, and you'd think that like it just works in the day and you pass it. Like no. Don't assume that makes an arse out of you and me.
Yeah.
And they've now been working on a lot of that, and they've been joining the dots and whatnot. So who knows? Maybe in like 5 years, it'll catch up with the technology of today, and you would see stuff that you plan to see.
Yeah, we'll have an episode on the health systems. I remember. Were you there? No, it was second year uni, so it wasn't upper school. But we had a conference where the NHS came in to
the whole NHS.
No, like some guy. Some
one
bloke.
dude.
He's like, I work for the NHS. Like, of course you do, mate. He did. Oh, he said he did. He was what was he? He's like an infrastructure developer, and he showed us their platform that they used to. What was it for? It was something not relevant to like actual
medical data or something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it was important regardless because it's like I think it was security. I think it was security at the back end to like make sure everything is like backed up, and you know there's enough space and etc.
Right.
But it was like, okay, how do I get a job in this? And it's like there's bans and those kind of things, and it's like you forget it's difficult. Like there's red tape I work in the financial industry, so there's red tape there. But health is like one of those things as well. Like I understand what I want versus why it can't happen because it's people's lives. So you can't play the fast-paced tech innovation with people's lives. But at the same time, I do not want to see Windows XP in the hospital in 2023, bro. Like I no, that's people's lives. So same thing. You're not gonna have AI right now in the hospitals, but also don't have Windows XP. Like
MS-DOS,
like be in the middle. Like give me Windows 8, something like. So it's like it's
a balance.
That's why that would be a good conversation. But quickly, we had a pie chart, Louis, back to layoffs in the tech industry. The other thing I wanted to cover as well is like actually who gets laid off percentage-wise in tech industry, because the tech industry is just an industry. There's more than just tech roles in the tech industry. So it's like, what are you susceptible to or who's actually at risk? Believe it or not, engineers probably are the most at risk. So this is Dropbox, their alumni list. Now, of course, as Louis mentioned, this was people that actually put in their information that they got let go of. Not probably the whole picture, but just a good enough picture. And for Dropbox, I guess this was last year or in the past, their recent letting goes, they had of their let go or laid off. Is that the correct term? Laid off? Fired?
I don't know what the correct term is.
Well, yeah, laid off.
Escorted.
I don't think they were escorted.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd hope they were, but
yeah,
of the people that were told to
escort
leave,
them off the building.
do you think that actually happens?
Like, you're fired. No,
I
they do.
I don't think
Because they'll
actually
send you out, and then they'll be
yeah.
like, "Give me your badge." So
Yeah.
they do get escorted. Not in like a you've really seriously messed up, but it's like a you fire someone. Do you really expect them to not set a fire on the way out? Like people are crazy in today's age.
That's peak. You've been fired, Louis?
I haven't been fired, no.
Neither have I. Anyway, 44%, 43% for Dropbox was engineers. This is just by departments. We had 15% design, 4% was customer success. Strategy and operations were 2%. Sales was 3%. Recruiting was 6%. Product was 10%. Others, well, it doesn't really matter. Marketing was 6%. So the biggest ones, marketing 6%, product 10%, design 15%, and customer success and sales about 3%. But engineers 43%. So regardless of where you work, if you're an engineer or more technical for a tech company, you are probably the most likely to be let go. And apparently design and product too. So just watch your back. But again, like you were saying, you can have you're very delicate into what you look at, what you work for, and you can have like a look at the history of the people you work with and work for and see what they're likely to do, because history repeats itself. I will not be working for Dropbox ever. Actually, maybe. I don't know.
Dropbox have got some cool technology. The way
that's what I was thinking. Yeah. You know what? Because I mean, actually, that's the thing. Yeah. I know I'm in it for a year, so or two. So But what if you get let off after like 2 weeks? That's peak.
What'd you say? If you get let off in 2 weeks?
Yeah, that'll be peak.
Yeah, it would be peak.
I
mean, no one's susceptible, but then I guess this kind of comes back to the whole point of like how you should live your life. Like you shouldn't live above your means. You should always be planning for like financial independence. Like you get a paycheck, you spend every single penny of that paycheck, and you've got no savings whatsoever. That's your own fault. You're an idiot. There's no two words about that. If you're not doing something about that to help your future self, you're done for. With exceptions, right?
There's exceptions.
Yeah. So with exceptions, so like if you physically are like living paycheck to paycheck because landlords are putting up their prices again, so you can't afford the rent, etc., etc. Sure, those exceptions.
That's one.
But in this industry that we're talking about, like tech and engineering, for the majority, these people are getting paid well above average. I'm not talking about like people that with like single parent families that are struggling. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about
some of them are them
now
though.
use case. Huh?
Some of them are those people.
What, these engineers?
Yeah.
In proportions, probably there's some, but I would say proportionally, if you were to stretch it out across like the industry, less so.
I don't know, Louis. I feel like it's balanced all around. I think everybody exists in the realm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there are people that have safety nets and they're fine. If they get fired, it doesn't matter. There are other people that are living paycheck to paycheck that if they get fired, it's bad. In the same company, in the same role. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just... Because who knows how you like, yeah, maybe you went to uni. Like, companies only hire graduates who have this experience, whatever. But just because you have those credentials doesn't mean you can't be in a financial situation that's terrible later on. So it's like, the chance that you're saying, I get what you're saying, like, chances are you're probably okay in these industries for these big companies. But there's still people in there that, it can be very adverse.
The point I was going to get to was like, how do you refer to these big companies like FANG and whatnot? What? If you move out to FANG, so like Facebook, Apple, Google, it's like the way they refer to like the
the
stocks
N?
in their names. Nvidia,
Okay.
I think.
I think I
You
have
have to
heard
look it
that.
up. There's multiple
think it is
versions now.
Nvidia.
There's like new ones and stuff like that.
It's not Netflix.
For these big companies, like the amount of people that you, I guess, see or you would hear and whatnot that are like, oh, I'm ex Google, I'm ex Facebook, I'm ex Meta, I'm ex this, and oh, I was a team lead here and all that. And it's like, I don't think like taking one of those positions, not that it's not worth it, but the trade off between the quite high probability that you're in the chopping line in the next year versus what you get from the role and like how much stupid amount of money they're paying for you, like, is it worth it? Like, you taking on that position and working for that company, are you doing it just because it's a name and you've heard that this is really good things, and then you get there and you're like, bro, this is trash, this is like the most toxic environment I've ever worked in? Like, we would need to get someone from them to represent, I guess, like someone's come on the show or something for us to grill about this.
Yeah.
But if you move to San Francisco or like LA, like some of the most expensive areas to chase one of these jobs, and you think it's the be all and end all, and it turns out it's not that it's a bad decision, but do you have to live in that decision? You shouldn't, right? You should change your ways, do other things, go to different places, blah, blah, blah. So by that sense, living within your means, do you still want to work for this company? Do you still want to live in San Francisco and pay ridiculous amounts of rent and et cetera, et cetera? So you bring those factors in, and it's like, how many of these people are worse off by that because they've moved to a different state, country, whatever, to follow this, and now they've got nothing. Now they're in a foreign land. They're in a different state that they don't know. Maybe they don't have the means of going back. So maybe this whole, like, these layoffs are like 7 times worse than what we could even imagine. Maybe imagine it's like, it's not just someone's gotten laid off now. It's like, technically their life is, I don't want to say ruined, because people make it back, like people go bankrupt and all sorts of other stuff and become millionaires again. So I don't know. But then at the same time, you're on like $400K a year. What are you doing with that money to now have no money when you do get fired? Like, is your rent $400K a year? It's not. It's probably something mad still. But what are you doing with the rest of your money? Like, I think you've probably seen that the video of that guy that like invested like $90K in Bitcoin or like some altcoin, and he was at a party and it like tanked, and he's like sitting there trying to sell all of his. He's like standing outside with his laptop, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I'm trying to sell, but my laptop's frozen." And like, it was like a pump and dump scheme, and it just sold. So what was like 60, 70K turned into like 200 quid in like a matter of like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're falling for those sorts of things, and if you're in those sorts of categories, not that you should be fired, but at the same time, what are you bringing to work with those sorts of thoughts and mentalities, I guess, is probably the point.
Yeah. Also, as a conclusion, you read the news, go look at it yourself, because I found a little article here from a small company called CompTIA. Don't know if you've heard of them, Louis.
It's
that told us
CompTIA.
in
They're like the
August
certification board, right?
29th, 2023, the UK tech workforce surpassed 2 million. So, is there a decrease or is there an increase? If
Wait,
there's
say that again?
firings, the UK tech workforce surpassed 2 million for the first time. So there's more than 2 million people working in the tech force in the UK.
Oh, really? Is that it?
What?
Like, what's the population in the UK? It's like 68, 70 mil?
Yeah, I want to say 60 something.
It's
a lot of people.
high 60s. I don't know if we hit 70 yet.
Yeah.
I would have thought there'd be more, though. More than 2 mil. That seems quite low.
It does?
Yeah,
Just
I would
remember,
have thought there'd be.
Most people are either like mad old or kids.
UK population's apparently about just shy of 68 mil.
There you go.
Yeah, you talk about like I guess, dispersions of.
That's the other thing. The tech industry isn't the biggest industry. Like, it's not this thing. Maybe it's because we work in tech and we talk about tech, so we care about tech. So all we hear about is tech firings. But like, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping. I don't know. I can't think of an industry, but there's more industries that need more people. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things. This is also maybe another way to look at it. Like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. There's only 2 million people working in tech in the UK.
Technology. So like your social medias and your entertainment groups, maybe they're having a lot more firings because they don't need the people to, like, in comparison to say like medical, like we need this amount of staff to keep these systems alive because people will start dying. I mean,
also, I read out
drastic.
Dropbox. They don't have a social media team, like, really. It's Dropbox, you know what I mean? So they're going to have more engineers getting fired. But if I looked at other companies, that might have been different.
Like LinkedIn, right? Didn't you say they had their social media team or something?
It's LinkedIn's.
But isn't LinkedIn a social media?
Most of them that were fired were in the social network departments.
Maybe they just wasn't doing the right thing.
Maybe they weren't posting enough, you know?
I won't talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a cesspit.
I try to every day. I put a stop to a certain notification. Like, I don't want to see this. And then tomorrow they make a new one. And it's like, I don't want to see it. I don't care about somebody posting. I can't even say it without saying it. You know what I mean, Louis?
Yeah, 100%.
I just don't care. Like, please.
Yep.
So I've just turned off notifications totally because I talk to people on the messaging on LinkedIn, so I care to see the notification. But I can't keep notifications on specifically for that because they keep making new notifications, like new types of notifications. So then, like, you have to keep up to date with what to stop. So it's easy just to turn off notifications for the whole app. So then if you make a new thing, it doesn't matter. So now I have to like check, and then I realize like one of my teachers from 10 years ago that's been hitting me up about cool things. I haven't like said anything to him in like 2 weeks, and it's like, oh, my bad, bro. Like, this has been ridiculous. I have to turn it off. Also, I just don't care. Like, it's meant for me to jobs. Get a job, hire somebody. You know, like why are you posting memes on LinkedIn, bro? Why are you posting memes on LinkedIn?
No.
I don't want to open LinkedIn and see something I'll see you on Twitter or Facebook. Like, this, be professional. That's what this is about. I thought that's what it is about. Am I wrong?
Yes. No, I'm joking.
Can we be professional, please?
The memes are fine. They're not.
The memes, no,
the problem.
That's the issue, Louis. People like you allow it.
It's not that I allow it. What I cannot stand for, the memes I can kind of deal with, right? What I can't stand for is the people that are doing like the self-righteous posts, the people that are like promoting themselves, and people that are like copying the same story from someone else and pretend that it's theirs, and all this other bubble of cloud that like people get sucked up into in LinkedIn. It's just like,
but
different reality.
I accept the self-righteousness because
but hear
me out.
You're allowing this.
Hear me out.
Your fault.
Because you have to market yourself. So if you're a company,
there's a level of marketing, and then there's a level of
but that's you have to accept
atrocity.
You're right. You have to accept that the bad with the good.
Atrocity.
You have to accept the good with the bad. So the same thing applies to
delete the LinkedIn app,
individuals that are a business, or you want to work. So you have to sell yourself. So whether you do that in a good way or a terrible way is your choice and your ethos, right? If you're lying about what you are and you're copying and pasting like Nelson Mandela's quotes and saying this is what you said to get a job, then, or to hire people for your company, then do you, right? But just memes, Louis. Like, why is there a meme on here? I don't get it. Like, this is nothing to do with networking. Like, this isn't Reddit. Like, we're not. If you want to like network with memers, go to Reddit. Go to r/work memes or something. You know, like, I don't know. I just can't. I haven't opened it in like 2 weeks. How you
feel about memes is how I feel about the other 90% of people on LinkedIn.
There you go. Yeah. It used to be so good. I used to get on there and it'd be articles about like new tech jobs that you can do after graduating, and there's people you can see like free to work, and then if you're hiring somebody, you can like look at their profile and that's it. Or vice versa, you're looking for companies that are hiring, you go see that, and then you put you update all your certificates and your roles and whatever, and then people can find you, blah, blah, blah. That used to be that. It used to be so simple. Now it's all of this. It's all of this.
You know what, actually, talking to jobs and like if you have been laid off, whatever, LinkedIn jobs is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's very good.
That's
what I mean. They're too good at what they do to have this like existing in the same like platform
realm. Yeah. If what the problem that's with LinkedIn jobs, if you're looking at that, is the people putting the jobs on LinkedIn, there's a lot of people that don't understand basic, simple understanding of what a job description should have. Like, they won't put salaries. It'll be through like a third party, like some sort of recruiter, and it just like spirals out of control from there. And like, you would see a hiring manager put a role in there, and it's like, this is remote. So you reply for it, and you're like, oh, cool, this is a remote. And then like they send you like a job spec, and it's like, yeah, you need to be in the office 5 days a week. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Why does it say remote? Oh, why does it say remote? I don't know. It's got your name next to it. Why did you not put the right information there? And there is a lot of that, but there are a number of posts that will take you to like the company's website of the post, so you get the whole picture per se. Don't know. Would I be a massive a-hole if I said being made like redundant or like fired, like if you get like a somewhat decent severance package so you're not just completely in the lurch, would I be an a-hole in saying there could be a silver lining? This could be like your break. Like, this company was crap, I wanted to leave, I thought I'd probably just write it out here. I want to know, obviously there's not going to be a statistic for that.
No, you're right. You're not an
Do you wonder how many of those people are like, yo, you've done me a favor because I've got no income. Yeah. You have a little bit, maybe of a severance package or whatever. But how many of those people are like, this is the drive I needed to look for a new job. Now I've got no new job. This is the go for me to be looking for that because I actually don't have a job. Yeah,
no, you're right. But
I can't imagine most people in the moment when they get told they're getting let go, they're like, yo, this is silver lining.
Yeah.
They sit at their party and like get the crackers out.
I think that those numbers are very against.
Yeah.
It's a very 10% max, I'd say.
I wonder how many people are like the big companies like the FANG, like the Google, the Meta, and the Facebook, and they're like, oh, we're laying off 12,000 people, and there's just people just cheering. They're like, please be me, please be me, please be me. Let me get out of it. Let me get out of it. I imagine there are a number of that.
No, I know people for companies I've worked for that are waiting to be fired because they need an excuse because they're comfortable, but they're low key. They would, if they had to, they would. And
jump
you know,
ship.
you get complacent. Not complacent. You get you settle. Whoops, sorry, I just smacked my mic. You settle, and there's no need to, especially if you're, what's it called, coasting? Like, why should I struggle? I've figured this out. Whether I'm doing a good job or not, I'm still here. I'm still getting paid. So it's like, it's one of those things. But yeah, most people probably won't be happy, and they'll probably end up jumping onto the next available bad job too. Again, so it's like, there's that aspect too of the types of people that are there. But if you have the luxury to, then you absolutely see it as a silver lining to find something new or go find yourself. If you can take a break,
go find yourself.
Yeah, go touch some grass. Every episode we do it. Go touch some grass. Always find time to touch grass.
Yeah, always. Should always. My unpopular opinion, amongst many I've said today, is you shouldn't just stay in a job. Like, I think if I saw on someone's CV they bounced from 4 different jobs in 1 year and they had reasonable reasons, so like this had no strategic direction, like this company literally had no understanding of what they're trying to achieve, and this one there was no one that was competent to even write a piece of code, and then they went to the next one and it just kept going from there. I would respect that person more than someone who stays at a company for the next 4 years just because it seems like it's not the right thing to do, but like the coasting, like you say, like if you're not out there to go get it, you're not out there to take it. No, what's the word? Chase it, not chase it. Chase it.
Chase it makes sense.
But then at the same time, people have like mortgages and whatnot. People's risk appetite.
If you have the luxury to be intentional, be intentional.
Yeah,
because you're doing yourself a disservice. Like you have, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you have a privilege to do better and to try. So you should do yourself that service of trying. Also, for not just for yourself, for the people around you. You know, like you have the freedom and the ability, then yeah, you should absolutely exercise it. Exercise all of that. Because why would you be in the same category as people that don't have that? Like why life isn't fair. So if you're fortunate enough, like make the most out of it. That sounds crazy, but it's true. And you know, it's one of those things I think about a lot actually. It's like you could either don't stifle yourself, you know?
Don't settle for less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So damn, are we a motivational podcast?
We've turned into it, mate. We have to get the Live Laugh Life poster and all that stuff.
I think it's time for Q&A, Louis. I'm rubbing my hands.
Q&A. Oh.
Well, it's time for Ka. Now, we introduced this recently, so we only got a few questions. But this is your chance. From now on, this is a thing. So look at below the episode on Spotify. If you want to ask tech questions, we are now a tech support.
Whoa.
We're not taking it seriously, though. So you better not ask serious questions. If you do, you can just DM us on, on the socials. But if it's just something you want to know in general and our opinions and thoughts to help you, or just to know, then ask away, and we'll explain as we go, and it will make sense.
One disclaimer: we are not responsible for anything you do with this information that we tell
Absolutely.
you. All right, we are. So 100% your own fault.
No, it's your own fault. If I tell you 100%. To do something and you do it, it's on you.
you were going to say something, but you was like, that's too
bad. I can't say it. All I'm saying is I'm looking at a picture of horses in front of me on my screensaver. So,
bro, what?
Whoa. Wait, what are you thinking?
Bro, just roll
there's
the
loads of limit. Louis, there's loads of options here.
Roll the questions.
Said anything. It doesn't have to be crazy.
No. Get to the questions. What's up?
Okay, I can't find the questions, Louis. Where are the questions? I found them. What is question number 1? I'm going to keep it anonymous for now until I don't know when we'll be able. Actually, we'll keep it anonymous because maybe people don't want to know who says.
I don't think they can say whether they want to be anonymous or not.
So we'll just keep it anonymous for that sake then.
Yeah.
Unless it's like when we start using like Twitter or Instagram or something, if there's people's ads and they're public, then we'll be like, this is a public user.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
you know. Yeah, but if they're private, then we'll keep it private. But on Spotify, I don't know. People don't have a choice to be public or not, right? So we'll think about it. Question number 1, Louis.
Go for the question. Yeah, go.
To all of us. What is the best camera?
Oh, I've got no clue.
You don't know clue? Yeah, maybe we can't help you. Anyway, next question.
I'd probably like Google's up there with like the pic. You talk actually. Wait, what are you talking about? You talking about like a DSLR? You talking about like
I think they mean
phone?
Because they would have said phone, but I think they mean like a camera, like a DSLR. Like,
but how'd you know that? You're assuming, bro.
Because I mean, people know phone camera. If you want to say phone camera, say phone camera. What's the best phone? What's the best phone with the camera? I'm taking the question as it is. Okay, so let's just say what's the best camera, Louis, regardless of if it's on a phone or not.
All right.
How about that? Because then my answer changes.
Oh no, there's like 15.
My answer changes completely.
Yeah, there's like 15 like features. If you're like, I don't want to carry around a DSLR, what's the best thing I can put in my pocket? And you be like, oh, read out the options like Pixel, iPhone, blah blah blah, Samsung.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I don't care about money. Cool, you're gonna buy like a 4K DSLR with some mad lens. I don't know what I can tell you. So
with that, my honest answer is whatever you can afford is the best camera. If you want to take, I'm being serious.
That's not an answer.
I'm not laughing. That's an answer. Why is that not an answer? If you have a price range, the top of that price range, look at everything in that top of the price range. Because some things with like cameras, especially in phones, the more you pay, the better the quality is, right? Just a rule of thumb.
I think that's bad advice.
All right, I'm not hearing nothing from your side.
Listen. So what I think would be good advice is that's the top of your price range, but so what is that at the top of your price range? Or what could the top of your price range be? So if you settle for something less now and you make do with what you have, but like in like 6 months' time, you can now double your top of your price range. Doubling your money in that price range could be like 5, 6, 7, 10 times better in terms of quality, production value, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but also when I say afford, it's not like what are you willing to pay. This is somebody that's just like, okay, I can afford. Like I can afford it doesn't mean this is how much I have. Do you know what I mean? In my head, it's just like, okay, if I spent this right now, let's say 500, get 500 quid, but you could spend 1,000, right? So it's different.
Yeah, so that's what
So
I'm saying.
if you can afford 500, get a camera with 500 quid. And then what Louis is saying is I agree with that too. Later on, if you become really into photography and now you want to invest in something proper, by that time you know what you want and need, and you don't. Because then what you can afford is also you get to figure out what you actually need. Because then you buy something that's not like, it doesn't hurt you. And then when you're using it, you start realizing, oh no, this lacks this lacks that. Oh, I really need this. I really want that. So then your next purchase will be specific to now what you want to do. So when I say what you can afford, what I really mean is get involved in whatever you want to do now. Like start taking pictures. So whatever you can go to Tesco right now, buy something. And then, no, like, me serious. Then start taking pictures. And then in 2 months' time, you'll be like, oh, this is trash. I need this. And then you know what you want, or what you need, sorry. And then you look at the prices and then you decide, like, okay, am I willing to spend more than $1,000? Because this is what I need because I've been lacking it in the one I got that I could afford. And now I can, or not afford, maybe that's the wrong word, but get something is maybe my answer. Get something and then figure it out later on. Just
comfortability.
Yeah.
What can you
if you have a good friend, borrow one. Shout out to Louis. Lend, and then you can figure out what you need after that. Because even like that's what happened to me, right? After like a few years of using the Canon, I now know if I get a camera myself, what I'm looking for and what I need and what I want and what's perfect for how I shoot. So it's like, yeah, borrow one. If you can borrow one, or have like whatever you can afford or willing to spend, half of that, and buy anything and then figure it out from there. That's my answer. Just 100% do it.
Agree with just do it. That bit 100%. Like, don't stop.
I'm pointing to my Nike.
Nicky.
Anyway, what? What'd you call me? Kidding.
Yo, we're allowed to say Nigeria, right?
You keep saying that. All right. No, are we still answering this? Go on.
Hang on. There was like a meme, like a TV show, and it was like, it's like we're not allowed to say the N-word, and then the guy's like, but I thought we're allowed to say Nigeria. Like it's an actual meme. There's like a if anyone gets the reference, shout out. If you don't, don't worry about it. The other point, actually, the last point to that is, what are you using this camera for? If you're using this camera as like your main source of income and spending, so like,
I don't
say
think
your example,
this person's asking that question.
No, but you don't know though. Like, what
if you need this to live, you're not asking Intechlectual podcast. No. What camera is the best? Actually, maybe you are. Maybe you are. No, you're right. Exactly. My bad.
Wait, you underselling us? What are you talking about?
No, yeah, that's why I'm backing us now. Yeah. Ask us. You should be asking us. Who else would you ask?
Exactly. What if this was someone that got fired from like one of the top companies, and now they're using their severance package to change into a career that they want to do?
There you go,
bro. What if you can spend that £500 extra now, or dollars, and that is the difference between like you getting your first client or not, because the quality of your productions.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, another thing, tank money that you don't have, then don't do that.
You can go to camera shops and try out.
Can you rent
cameras? Yeah, no, you can rent cameras. I've been to a photography event, maybe 2. I've been to a few actually, but I've been to 2 that actually the company was there. Like Nikon was there once, and then I think Sony was at one of the other ones. And you could for the day, you could like borrow a camera for free, and then like shoot around, and then you can come back and then make like, okay, I want this or not. But I'm pretty sure you can also go to like photography stores and rent or borrow, like paying like something, a small amount, or a deposit or something, and then try it out for like a week and then give it back and then go from there. So that's another way to do it, and then see if this is worth it or not. So
mad doing that. Yeah, rent a camera.
Rent a camera.
Like, or if you know somebody done on a weekend. Go on.
You can imagine you did 3 different cameras for 3 different weekends. You'd have a good idea of what you want or what felt best. That's the other thing. Usually what feels best, Louis, is, feels
Yeah,
good. It
can't-
feels good. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Can't deny that.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean.
Know what I mean? All right.
Before we get cancelled, let's move on. We got any other questions? What else we
This
got?
is the last one. We had 2.
Oh,
but-
okay. Shout
Well, we
out.
had another one, but it's a bit risky, so we're not doing that. I'll tell you after.
No, come on.
I'm not
Come
doing
on.
that. For the Patreon.
Come on. Patreon.
We'll answer that one on the Patreon.
What Patreon?
Oh, what Patreon? Ooh.
Yo.
Oh, they don't know about that
You're
yet.
making business decisions out
Yeah,
here.
they don't know about that yet. I'll run it by you, Louis. Don't worry, I'll run it by you. So the question is from user... Oh, I can't see the name. What programming languages do you guys know?
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go first because this guy over here...
What guy?
This guy over here... Where is it? Oh, that's the question. Cool. Yeah, that was a question. That was just making sure it was the right one.
That's not the risky
We
one, is
both went to uni. We both studied IT to some sort. So we've covered I've covered the basics, like Visual Basic. Is that programming language? It is.
VBA is a programming language, yeah.
Yeah. So
Visual Basic.
Visual Basic, I know. JavaScript, Python, Java. Although I've never really used Java. PHP, C#.
Oh, PHP, man. C#.
What else do I know? C++, SQL. HTML and CSS aren't really languages.
I wouldn't
No,
say
HTML
SQL
is a language. What's the L?
Hypertext markup language.
It's a language. So HTML is a language.
No, but it's not a programming language. Like SQL's not a programming language, in my opinion.
Did they say programming language?
Yeah. You said programming language.
It did say programming language. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. All right. So, but if you want to count them, don't count them. If you do, you do.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't say that, but I would say I know SQL.
Yeah.
Or
do you know NoSQL?
Yeah.
I've never used NoSQL. I've just used SQL.
Yeah, it's just based on a bunch of objects, Jason, you shove somewhere without relations.
Yeah.
Typically, you grow the one document as opposed to relational lookups. There's many models that you can get into.
So that's my list. So Louis, you've done all of those, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then you've also done what else? What else have you or used? Because then we'll talk about, I guess, how we've used them. Because just using them, knowing about them is 2 different things. Because some of them that I know I've never really used, I just know them because I had to do a module or a quick thing. Whereas others I've extensively, or till this day, still use. So I guess we can add to that. But what else? What else have you touched on? You've done. So I've not really used Java. I just know about it. You've used Java.
Yeah, Java Enterprise Edition as well. Get your any
no SQL,
WAS,
like you said.
Any WAS people out there, if you know what I'm talking about.
It's WAS. Exactly. I don't know what.
WebSphere application
Damn, I'm not a WAS
server.
person. Can't believe it.
You're not a WAS person, no. Yeah.
Perl?
So
have you used Perl?
Yeah, Java, Perl. Oh man, Perl. Nah. Ruby. We got a bit of Go going on. Did you say C#? You did.
I said obviously use C# and C++, but I've not used C. Have you used C?
Yeah, I've used C.
I don't know how I've not used C.
I was doing a whole personal project now. I'm not going to mention it because
wait, no, you can plug yourself. That's the whole point in this, Louis. I'm gonna listen.
No. It's not something that I'm sharing. It's just
gotcha.
You have goals and whatnot that you don't tell everyone.
Yeah.
Go. You said Java, Groovy, so technically a spin-off of
Yeah.
Java.
It's
not a
JS.
spin-off. Oh, that's a bad way to say that. Look it up.
JS, sorry.
JavaScript. Yeah, many frameworks inside of that as well, variations like TypeScript.
TypeScript, never used that. MATLAB. Have you used MATLAB? I've not used MATLAB.
No, I've not used MATLAB.
I'm going to mention Pete for a 3rd time in a row. I don't know why I keep mentioning him. We're going to get him on here for an economist talk.
Pete, you're me, Pete. You don't know Pete. You got to say the phrase.
Pete uses MATLAB. Every time he always asks me, hey man, how do you do this in MATLAB? And I was like, I have no idea, bro. I've never used it. I feel like everybody that's done a PhD has used MATLAB.
Probably in some sort of graphical sense.
So it's it's not really... I mean, I've never had to say.
What else we say? It said Ruby, Go. It's been a bit of Rust. There was some stuff I had to do. Scala.
Something Louis doesn't know. Wow. Got him.
Scala.
No, Louis, it's okay. Louis, it's okay. We don't have to know everything.
It's.
Louis, it's okay. Just let it go.
I'm trying to word it for you.
Trying to word it for me.
Like, it's like it's not a newer version of Java. It's like a. It is, but
it
it's
is.
not.
You're right. That's crazy.
Like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how
The
to
whole
word
point
it.
in the whole, I think it was created to replace Java, to
Not
address the
necessarily
criticisms of Java.
replace it.
That's literally the definition of the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's built on Java, so
yeah, it's like different like syntax the way you use it or not.
Yeah.
What else we say? Go. Right, you said Python, C, C++, C#. All
right, what have we used them for? How about that?
I can't really talk about half of that because of NDAs and all sorts of other businesses, but
non-disclosure agreements. Can't disclose it.
yeah,
Can't disclose it. But I mean, website building, simple apps. You've done a ton of mobile apps, like little playing around.
Yeah, stuff like
of
that.
thing. That's why I only care about HTML personally and CSS, JS as well, I guess. Because I mean, I don't really. You like creating applications like properly, but for me,
I do all sorts. Yeah,
for me, I'm lying to you. I do scripting a lot. I do a lot of scripting. I'm just.
we didn't cover scripting languages like Bash and stuff.
Yeah. So thank you. I think that covers the Q&A. So ask some more questions and we will answer them. They can be as silly as you want, as serious as you want, and we will try to do our best to be professional.
We prefer the serious ones.
Yeah. No, do we?
You can
do both. If you're gonna put in a question, do two. Do a silly one and a serious one to balance it out. Unless you have something in the middle, then it's whatever. But
if you put something dumb, we will make fun of you.
Yeah, we know some stuff, so we can help you, or we can make fun of you, or not.
If you start putting in there some ID10T errors,
ID10T errors.
Okay, take your PEBCAC issues out here. All right.
What?
Problem exists between keyboard and chair.
All right. Yeah. On that
bombshell.
Thank you. Episode 11.
Tech Moves.
Have a good week. And until the next time.
Wow, man ruined it. No. I'm Louis.
I'm Emmanuel.